13th February 1985. Milk Cup semi-final first leg at Roker Park, Sunderland 2, Chelsea 0. Of all the games played at Roker Park, the Milk Cup SF first leg in 1985 is probably the one that has had the most rubbish written about it over the years by the opposition fans, with Chelsea fans claiming to have taken anything from 10-15,000 fans, more than 100 of their fans being arrested, and generally making grand claims to have taken the piss all night. The facts are that League Cup rules meant that the away club could request up to 25% of ground capacity, including 2,000 seats. The capacity of RP in 1985 was 37,600. The game was all ticket and Chelsea were allocated all of the RE, 8,000, plus the upper and lower tiers of the Roker wing of the MS seats, approx 1 or 800. Chelsea sold all of their seating allocation and just over half of the RE tickets. This gave them a total support on the night of more than 6,000 but less than 6,500. Putting Chelsea fans in the seats above the home fans in the paddock was, of course, asking for trouble, and some of the morons spent the game chucking whatever they could down onto Sunderland fans, while at the end a couple of hundred seats were ripped out and thrown down into the paddock. After the game, the Chelsea headhunters stormed into the Bluebell. They had done something similar at Newcastle a few months earlier at the Farmers' Rest, and several Newcastle fans had been slashed with knives, and that incident had been headline news in the local papers and on the local news. No doubt recalling that incident, and knowing that the Chelsea scum would be carrying knives, some Sunderland fans in the BB armed themselves with pool cues and defended themselves. The end result of the actions of the Chelsea scum at the BB was that quite a few Sunderland fans needed treatment primarily for cuts caused by flying glass, while several of the headhunters ended up in hospital with fractured skulls after being hit with pool cues. Both before and after the game, there were clashes between fans, and in total there were more than 100 arrests that night. 4th March 1985. Milk Cup semi-final second leg, Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Sunderland 3. In his wisdom, Ken Bates decided that the second leg didn't need to be all-ticket. Presumably this was largely because he thought that making it all-ticket might significantly reduce the attendance on the night, and also partly because Stamford Bridge had a capacity of around 44,000 at the time, and partly because he didn't think Sunderland would bring a significant number of fans. Sunderland were allocated 2,000 seats as per League Cup rules, although these weren't segregated, and the away terrace which held 10,000. However, as Bates obviously didn't think Sunderland would bring anything like those numbers and wanted to use part of the away terrace for Chelsea fans, getting to the ground was the first problem, with scores of Chelsea fans carrying knives, and Sunderland fan Dave told us, "For anyone who claims you only get trouble if you go looking for it, just fuck off. If you didn't have a Cockney accent, they were after your blood." That game was also the first that I'd seen people openly carrying and flashing knives at us as they walked past, with silent police standing nearby. It was very worrying. Fortunately, none of them decided to carry out an attack, but intimations were made if anyone passed comment. Some Sunderland supporters asked their coach drivers to allow them to stay on the coach rather than try to walk to the ground. Such was the intimidation on the streets surrounding Stamford Bridge. Several coaches had already had their windows smashed in, and hundreds of Sunderland supporters had been attacked, some quite viciously with knives and bottles. Once inside, if you got that far, there were fights taking place all over the ground, some against the police, some against Sunderland fans in the seats. And at one point it seemed like Chelsea were fighting amongst themselves, but it was actually West Ham's ICF who were congregated in Section 13 of Stamford Bridge's side stand. Once Sunderland scored their third goal, all hell broke loose. Chelsea fans invaded the pitch from the shed. Seeing this, other joined in and using anything they could find, but chairs in particular hurled them at the visiting Sunderland supporters in the north stand. 2 Chelsea players got hit by chairs, and several police were injured by missiles. Police horses were deployed and were sent into battle, storming into Chelsea's marauding fans and scattering them like bowling pins. But then the police horses came under attack from a hailstorm of chairs and missiles. Some horses and police riders were injured. Even Sunderland player Clive Walker was attacked whilst still on the pitch and only saved by some police officers. It took police over an hour to quell the Chelsea fans hell-bent on trouble. After the game ended, Sunderland fans were kept in for their own safety. But once allowed out of the stadium, the rioting Chelsea fans hadn't finished, with bricks and bottles raining down on Sunderland fans and their police escort. Finally, most Sunderland fans managed to get away from the Stamford Bridge stadium and travel back up to the northeast. Officially, 29 people were taken to hospital, including 6 policemen. But the real Feig is in the hundreds, 100 arrests, and a 6 minutes hold-up during the game. It's no wonder that every Sunderland fan that was there has a story to tell. A very bad day for football, and this is why this match is a forgotten riot from the past. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe as it really helps our channel grow.